Hello my brethren, I hope you're all well. This video needs to be made and it also needs to be heard. In this video I will share my views and only my views, and I will take full responsibility for the abuse that might ensure as the result of this video. Feel free to send me the hate and stray away from, directing the hate to whomever else might agree on this video. They have no control over what I say and do. There is many ways in which I can start this and try to ease you guys in what I'm about to say. There's two types of people in the world. Nah, I'm not gonna start using this cliche way of doing things, because first of all, there's shitloads of different types of people in the world. So let's start like this. MGTOW is the easy choice and the comfortable choice. For a lot of us, it was seen as the only remaining logical choice in the world that we have come to experience. And I understand that. That may in essence mean that it may have not really been a choice, but rather a series of events that brought us to this inevitable conclusion. And I also understand that accepting the MGTOW philosophy was quite difficult at first, because it took away a lot of the experiences that we lived before. It took away all those moments of blissful ignorance that we had come to accept and gave our lives some small meaning. I also understand that in the community I may appear to be an emotional fucker that talks without engaging too much brain, without too much experience on a lot of matters. I may appear to leave logic out of a lot of things, especially when I talk about emotions, and you guys seem to try and drag me back into the land of the logical thinking a lot of the times. But what you guys don't know is that I'm purposefully doing this. I purposefully try to keep emotion inside MGTOW and in men, and I purposefully try to remove logic a lot of the times from my videos. I purposefully try to bring these touchy-feely subjects in MGTOW without adding any logic in them, because emotions aren't logical, they're simply experienced. And since they're simply experiences, they need not much explanation but simply acceptance. And I try to bring acceptance and subtract logic, as by dwelling too much on the logic of a situation removes any context of the experience for that person. And for that person, the emotional experience is real, and is never subjected to any logic, no matter how hard you try. But I guess that is my personal stance, this is my personal bias. I may be too touchy-feely. I come after all from a place that is too touchy-feely, and for those in the community that do know me, they know how much that has affected who I am as a person. But let's move away from my personal bias and divulge deeper into the point of this video. Apathy is the cancer of the community. I'm well aware of the kind of term that I just used and its strong medical connotation. I'm well aware of how this may sound, but bear with me and let me explain myself. It will flow quite nicely, I promise. MGTOW as a choice initially brought you anger, and then hopefully may have brought you some relief. This relief that a lot of us reach is then accompanied by stagnation, indifference and apathy. After all, once you accept something, be it a belief system, religion, philosophy, ideology, whatever, you have done the majority of the groundwork. Therefore, why on earth would you put any effort to do anything more than that? Why put the effort to keep looking if I have now found the ultimate answer? Now, I'm not religious myself, but even when I was, I saw a lot of people that would claim to be religious but fail to do any of the work required by that religion, and they would simply claim the title. There needs to be some work, always, that needs to go into doing anything, even once you accept the philosophy behind that thing. Because each philosophy leads to inevitable conclusions, or at least it did so in my case, and those conclusions need to be acted upon. So let's take MGTOW as an example for this. Going your own way. That, in itself, going your own way sounds like an action, but in actual fact it's an inaction. It is the cessation of any engagement with the opposite sex, at least in any meaningful way, as society puts it. And in order to achieve that, all you need to do is do absolutely nothing. And that feels good. For the first time in your life, you're part of something which is happy with you doing nothing. And don't get me wrong, MGTOW is not asking anyone to do anything. It is not forcing anyone to do anything. And your membership is definitely not going to be revoked for any reason. However, think of the implications of this. This ideology that we all feel passionately for has at its very core a passive-aggressive inaction. This has forced some people in their rooms, it has caused people to segregate with their friends, it has made people completely shun women, and it made people admit defeat in the face of society and hope for society's ruin rather than put the effort in trying to change things. I seem to continuously come across people that have lost their will to fight, other than on the specifics of what it means to be MGTOW, which I guess is important, and that's where we build all our ideology and the foundations, but no one addresses the apathy that comes as a result of the inevitable conclusion of the MGTOW ideology. Stardust has talked about the conservation of energy, the act in which an organism does the absolute minimum in order to conserve the maximum amount of energy possible. And this is something that MGTOW seem to be very good at. But conserving energy for a long time leads to boredom. Boredom leads to vacant emotional states, which then leads to a loss of identity, which then leads to sadness, depression, and anxiety. Arguably, conservation of energy comes naturally for the majority of people, but when prolonged, it is not a natural state for human beings. Activity seems essential for the maintenance of a healthy brain, and I'm worried when I discuss with people about this, and they're so shut down about what I'm proposing, because I don't only form my ideas in order to help men with no concern over the person who's doing the helping. I'm doing this out of concern for everyone, especially those who are doing the groundwork and are helping people. My concern is for my brothers who have chosen apathy and inactivity, and they think that that is the best way to go about things. MGTOW's inevitable conclusion for myself is that men are people. Men are human beings with emotions and experiences much like every female out there, if not more. Men are highly emotional and highly intuitive, much more than society gives them credit for. They're highly empathetic and are programmed to give to the point of destruction. And once you reach that conclusion, then why do we simply shut down? Why do we not want to spread the knowledge? Why do we not want to help? I don't simply believe that apathy is bad for the long-term development of MGTOW philosophy. I do not simply believe that it's bad for the overall growth. It's not just bad for enabling opposing and sometimes moronic ideologies to develop within the MGTOW label, but it's also bad for the individual engaging in that apathy. Apathy can never come out of a place where you love other men. Apathy is an emotional state. By definition, it is lack of interest, enthusiasm, and concern. It is lack of passion. It is an absence of emotions towards whatever is going on. And that disinterest seeps into the ideology that I believe a lot of us cherish. And then it also seeps into the lives of those individuals and causes them seeing even the mere act of correcting someone or stopping and helping someone to seem like too much of an emotional investment. But even if the apathy is not stemming from the core of the movement, or how that may be interpreted, but is stemming from past attempts to help others and failing in them, then that as well, it is simply not good enough, especially when you apply logic in it. What if I was to tell you that we're programmed to enjoy the small highs of achieving something and helping someone, but yet we only remember the failings that we have in that area? What if I was to tell you that your inability to feel that emotional success is because in essence you're programmed to only remember failures so as to avoid them? And what easiest way to avoid failing than doing absolutely nothing? Doing nothing. It is the easiest way to avoid taking any blame on. It definitely does not give you any satisfaction, but it almost definitely guarantees any dissatisfaction. But we cannot exist in a vacant and blank state. It is only this much you can look at something that is static and unchanging before it drives you mad, before it drives you bored and sad. And a lot of the people I converse with do not have any understanding of a static and indifferent state. That is absolutely foreign to them. And it definitely is something that is foreign to myself. It is something that I see around me in MGTOW, and I want to simply cut it out and stop it from infecting others or metastasizing. But I don't know how to do that, and I'm only one man. It needs to be understood, at least by most people, that apathy is not a good mental state to be in. One cannot simply be apathetic to everything and expect to live a happy life. It is not the easy way out, but rather it is the simplest way out. And if apathy was so pleasurable, people would not be looking for other ways to occupy their time. They would find pleasure in sitting still and doing absolutely nothing. And I do not know about you. Even in the midst of a heat wave, I find that highly distressing, and I need to move and keep moving until I find comfort in an air-conditioned room with something to do there. We need to wake up from our slumber and start doing things, start actively expressing our knowledge, and live simply with the knowledge that we have tried, even if we fail. And that was good enough. That was quite pleasurable. We need to actively pursue our goals and dreams. We need to be active to be able to live. Death comes a lot quicker when you're not moving, and that is the first and only medical fact in this video. Please, my brothers, see the reason in the words that I'm proposing and walk out of your sheds into the sun and actively commit to the world that is rightly yours. Thank you very much for listening. This was Nikuchowski talking about all things man. Please like, share, and of course subscribe to my channel for more updates.